Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 3rd February 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 5 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first article. Title says Jal Jeevan Mission to help revive urban water bodies. So this article mainly focusing on this Jal Jeevan Mission Urban. So we already discussed about this Jal Jeevan Mission Urban in our union budget, right? So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under schemes, policies and programs of government. So why we are going to discuss this article? Because it gives some insights regarding this Jal Jeevan Urban Mission and what will be significance and what they are going to do under this Jal Jeevan Mission. So now let us see this article in great detail. So context says that urban water supply mission announced in the budget. So it include regeneration of water bodies and 20% of supply from this reused water. So what happened whenever we are going for this Jal Jeevan Mission Urban? So it will also include rejuvenation of water bodies along with tapped water supply to households. And also it will supply about 20% of reused water. So in this way they will also go for water conservation. So it will also helpful for rejuvenation of water bodies. So this is about context here. So this decision mainly taken by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So if you see some details regarding this scheme, Ministry estimated gap of 2.68 crore urban household tap connection. They need to be bridged under this scheme. An important aim of this scheme here is to bridge gap of 2.64 crore sewer connections. So they will go for sewer connection mainly in 50 cities under Amrut. So this Amrut mainly stands for Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. So you need to refer some facts regarding this Amrut also. So because in our budget there is one thing that is Amrut also talked. So because of this, you can expect questions regarding this Amrut in your prelims. So you have to refer some facts regarding this Amrut. So this is homework for you people. And also other aim of this scheme includes rejuvenate water bodies. So whenever we are going for rejuvenation of these water bodies, it mainly boosts sustainable fresh water supply and it will also create green spaces. So these are some important aims of this Jal Jeevan Mission Urban. So if you say significance, the first one is here we are going to rejuvenate our water bodies, we increase our fresh water supply and we are also going for creation of green spaces. We can promote circular economy of water. We can go for development of city water balanced pan. And next one is we can focus on recycling and also reusage of treated sewage. So these are some important significance of this scheme. And now let us see next article. Title says Supreme Court upholds bail for man booked under UAPA. So this article mainly focusing on Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So this act will be very important regarding GS paper 3 under internal security. So now let us try to discuss about why it is in news. So there is no need of remembering what happened, what did this court said, why there is a man booked under this. So this all thing which is not required for UPSC, but we need to focus on what is this UAPA. So UAPA mainly stands for Unlawful Activities Prevention Act here. So context here is Supreme Court upheld the bail, bail granted by Kerala High Court here, upheld bail granted by High Court, that is Kerala High Court, to a man booked under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. One man mainly booked under this Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So in this context, Kerala granted bail. So Supreme Court also supported that bail. So why Supreme Court took this decision? Because whenever there is delaying trial is happening or compelling a person to languish in jail, so whenever there is prolonged trial, what happens? It violates Article 21, that is right to life and dignity, that is violated of that person. So because of this, as we know, fundamental rights ought to be protected. So because of this, Supreme Court took this decision. And now let us see some facts regarding this UAPA. So this act mainly passed in 1967. Aim of this act here is for effective prevention of unlawful activities, associations in India. mainly for prevention of unlawful activities associations of India. Our government passed this act, and this act mainly assigns absolute power to central government. So in this context, central can also deem any activity as unlawful activity, then it may declare by official gazette. So entire power which is given to central government regarding to decide which is unlawful activity. And this UAPA mainly it also charges about both Indian and as well as foreign nationals. So under this act, both Indian and also foreign nationals, they can be charged here. And highest punishment under this act includes death penalty and as well as life imprisonment. If you see some important objectives of this act, mainly they include to make powers available for dealing with activities. They are mainly directed against integrity and sovereignty of India. So if at all any activities who are conducted mainly by citizens or by foreign nationals, so which they are against integrity and sovereignty of India, so they can be dealt under this act. If you see recent amendments to this act, Centre has amended this act in August 2019 and included the provision of designating an individual as terrorist. So before this amendment, only terrorist outfits they could be designated as terrorist groups. But after this amendment in August 2019, now individuals can also be designated as terrorist. So these are some facts regarding this article. Now let us see next article. So this is somewhat interesting topic which is important regarding international relations, which comes under GS paper 2. So title says setback in Myanmar. So this article mainly talking about military coup in Myanmar. We are going to discuss why it is in news and what is context and how military coup happened in Myanmar, and also we are going to see India's issues and India's concerns, because we need to know about how relationship between that country and India which is affected here. So in that way you can expect questions in your mains. So now let us try to understand what is context here. Here Myanmar's military staged a coup detaining de facto leader Aung San Suu Kyi. So Aung San Suu Kyi, she is de facto leader in Myanmar and she detained by military. Okay. And military made declared control of country for 1 year under state of emergency. Now military mainly gave an announcement or declared that control of country for 1 year under state of emergency here. So if you see news here, why it is in news? Because there is increased tensions between military and as well as civilians, because military mainly ruled the country for nearly 5 decades, and military also had allegations of fraud in November elections. So recently elections that held in Myanmar, so in that elections mainly allegations of fraud, that is mainly said by this military. So because of this, military had signaled its intentions mainly to seize power to settle claims of irregularities in polls. So whatever irregularities that happened in the polls, that will be settled by this military. So because of this military coup that happened in Myanmar. So how military coup carried out? So as of now in India we do not have any military coup. So because of this we do not know particularly what happens in military coup. So by this case study we can understand what might happen in military coup. So military mainly detained the leaders of governing party and also ruling party, that is NLD party in Myanmar, and Myanmar civil leaderships like Suu Kyi and also president of Myanmar, along with various ministers and even opposition party leaders also. So later on military seized control of country's infrastructure. First of all, it led suspending of most television broadcast, and also it went for cancelling of all domestic and international flights, and also suspended telephone and as well as internet activity, and also in stock markets and commercial banks they were also closed in Myanmar. And if you see one important largest city of Myanmar, that is Yangon, it is former capital of Myanmar also. So in this area residents they are ran to markets mainly to stock up of foods and as well as other supplies. So in this way military coup that happens in Myanmar. So if you see India's response regarding this military coup, how India responded. First one is India is deeply concerned with return to military rule in Myanmar, and India sees only option to engage buildings and on its outreach in recent years, mainly via security and defense establishment. Mainly via security and defense establishment, we are having proper engage and as well as proper buildings of relations with Myanmar here. And next one is India mainly seeks a more pragmatic approach, that is more practical approach, mainly to engage with military while pushing more freedoms and as well as democracy in Myanmar. So these are about India's response. And now let us see India's concern. So why India mainly concerned regarding this military coup? So if you see bordering countries with India, Myanmar also sharing boundary, correct? So because of this, whenever there is any military coup that happen, it also have effect on this bordering states of India. So first one is India's security relationship with Myanmar military. So this is one important concern. And next one is several infrastructure and development projects in Myanmar. They are mainly led by India. So because of this, Myanmar mainly acts as gateway to East or Asian countries. So whenever we want to reach these Asian countries, we can go through this Myanmar, correct? And next one is it is difficult to burn bridges. Mainly we gave their assistance regarding securing northeastern frontiers from insurgent groups. So there is also one problem here, that is insurgent groups here. So because whenever military coup that is seen here, so there may be increased military insurgency, or we can see in these northeast frontier areas there may be increased insurgency. That is one problem, right? So these are some concerns regarding this military coup in Myanmar. And if you are talking about projects which came up by India in Myanmar, they include India-Myanmar-Thailand Trilateral Highway, Kaladan Multimodal Transit Transports Network, and Special Economic Zone mainly in Sittwe Deep Water Port. So these are projects which are come up by India in Myanmar. So these projects will be important mainly to substantiate your answer and as well as in prelims. Now let us see next article. Title says a normal budget for abnormal times. So already we have union budget discussion. So there is separate video that posted in YouTube. So if you have not watched that union budget, please watch that video before seeing this article. So in that union budget, we studied about different budgetary outlays in different departments and what are schemes, new schemes which are coming up by government and how it is important for our revival of our economy. So this article mainly talking about some concerns regarding this budget. So whenever you are writing any answer regarding this, critically analyze our union budget, you have to write positives and negatives. So positives you can collect whenever you are reading some information regarding this union budget. For example, whenever we are coming up with any scheme, correct, any scheme in health sector or any scheme in textiles, whenever we are extending already existing scheme, so it will have some benefits. So we can write positives like 10 to 15 points regarding this union budget. But what about these negatives? Where can you collect? So if you are reading this type of editorials, then you can collect some negatives also, because these negatives also very important to write answer regarding critically analyze this union budget. So now let us try to understand what are negatives regarding this union budget, what are concerns regarding this union budget. So this article mainly focusing on budget and concerns. So if you are talking about background here, recently our finance minister came up with budget 2021 in our parliament. So this budget 2021 comes up in backdrop of optimism of our economy, because we are facing economic contraction quarter 1 and quarter 2. So because of this, now we come up with budget here. So even our economic survey also highlighted about India mainly projecting India's real GDP growth will be 11% in year 2021 to 22. And also India is assuming that inflation will be decreased, that is 4.4% and within limits. And next one is nominal GDP growth will be about 15.4%. So if all these numbers they to be realized, then growth path would entail the real GDP growth of 2.4% when we are comparing with 2019 to 2020 year. So when we are comparing with 2019 to 2020 year, if we are achieving all these numbers, then we will expect growth of 2.4% more than this growth which occurred in 2019 to 2020. So in this way, we can also say that Indian economy, it would take 2 years to reach and to surpass this pre-COVID-19 levels. When we want to achieve growth of pre-COVID-19 levels, so this article mainly says that it would take about 2 years mainly to reach economic growth or to surpass, to increase the growth which we had in pre-COVID-19 levels. And if you're talking about budget, we have two parts, part A and part B. Part A mainly talks about 6 pillars. So first important one here is health sector. So regarding this health sector, there is increased budgetary outlay, that is 135% increase that is seen. And this will be spread for over next 6 years. And we came up with a new scheme, that is PM Pradhan Mantri Atmanirbhar Swasth Yojana. And under this budget, for construction of these 6 pillars, we expected to be on current year's enhanced expenditure. So as we know, in part 6, there are 6 pillars, right? So mainly for construction of these 6 pillars and to bring development in these 6 pillars, we are expected to increase our expenditure. But if you see overall budget outlay, it is very much less, okay? Very little increase in overall expenditure when we are comparing with last years. And if you are talking about total expenditure for 2020 to 2021 on budget estimates of 21-22, there is additional outlay just 32,931 crores. So this is even 1% less than year's income contraction. So these are some concerns here. And next one is increased capital expenditure. So if you are talking about this capital expenditure that increased, only 15% of total expenditure. Though there is increase in capital expenditure, it is only contributing for 15% of total expenditure. So this capital expenditure is very important because it will increase growth, it will act as driver for growth and development of country, and it will also create employment. As we know, employment is very important because of this COVID-19, there is rise of unemployment that is seen. Whenever we want to go for revival of our economy and whenever we want to increase our employment generation, so we have to go with this capital expenditure or developmental projects or infrastructure projects. Okay, so regarding this capital expenditure, there is no multiple effect or multiplier effect that is seen soon. So this is also one cause of concern, because 2 important things that you should remember. So whenever we are going for infrastructure projects, so there may be risk of delay in construction. So whenever we want to go for laying of roads, so if at all it is moving regard any forest area, we need to take clearances from environment, correct? So there will be environment impact assessment that will be done. So sometimes this process may be delayed. So for infrastructure projects, they need to get bulk loans from banks. So banks also, they will delay in sanctioning of loans. And next one is life cycle of projects is very long. So returns cannot be get within some years. It will take some long time of 10 to 15 years. And next one is, if you are talking about sector specific target protocols, we came up with this production linked incentive schemes that will be given to industry here, correct? If you are talking about agriculture and medium and small, micro, small, medium enterprises, there is low priority given in this budget. And if you are talking about agriculture especially, there is no radical reform proposals in this agriculture sector. And there is no announcement with regard to bringing under this nutritional based subsidy regime under rationalizing this PDS. And also if you are talking about agriculture one scheme, that is PM Kisan. So under this PM Kisan also, there is no increased cash transfer under this PM Kisan. Only cash transfer is just rupees 6,000 per year. Okay. So these are some important issues regarding this sectors. And if you are talking about manufacturing, our important aim regarding this manufacturing here is it will push economy towards $5 trillion economy by 2025, right? So to achieve these goals, we are mainly focusing on private investments. And regarding textiles, we came up with Mitra scheme. So this Mitra scheme that will increase our exports and also increase employment opportunities, and it will also make our goods competitive in international market here. But if you see, there are some concerns regarding this manufacturing sector also. So first one is, there is lack of concrete policies towards export promotion. So we are saying that there will be increase in exports, but what about this export promotion policies? Government didn't talk about these policies regarding export promotion. And also exchange rate is appreciating. So whenever exchange rate is appreciating, it will affect on our exports. So there is nothing talked about this exchange rate in our union budget. So because of this, it might undermine competitiveness of manufacturing exports in India. And next one is infra financing. So regarding this infrastructure financing, government mainly talked about establishment of development finance institution here. So whenever we are going for establishment or setting up of this development finance institution, it mainly addresses financing part. But there are 2 issues that are left here. First one is execution risk and regulatory issue. who will execute these policies? So what about who will regulate this type of institutions? So these are not addressed in our budget. So these are some issues. And next one is employment and demand generation. They are large vagaries of growth cycles in economy. So what happened whenever we want to expand this employment opportunities or extend this employment opportunities, there is nothing that talked in this budget. And also now government talked about social security benefits that will be given to gig workers or platform workers. But our budget mainly remained unaddressed regarding how to tackle this urban unemployment. Okay. And this budget also talked that we are going to reduce our fiscal deficit. So our fiscal deficit will be decreased from 9.5% to 6.8% in this year. So why we can decrease this fiscal deficit? What might be reasons? First one is we are going to benefit stronger denominator here. That means nominal growth will be high, right? So here economic survey estimated that nominal growth will be 15.4%. So because of this we can decrease this fiscal deficit. So this is one thing. And next one is total revenue might get boost from better tax revenues. So because of COVID-19, what happened? Tax revenues are decreased a lot. Now we came up with post-lockdown things, okay, post-lockdown rules and regulations. So because of this unlock phase, we can increase our tax revenue here. So this is also one estimate of economic survey. And next one is there will be better investment revenues that comes into infrastructure and also private sector and even in manufacturing. So because of this we might decrease this fiscal deficit to 6.8% of our GDP, and these are most hypothetical things. So these are some important concerns regarding this union budget. So these are some negative things. So you can make a list here and you can use these points directly when you are writing about critically analyze this union budget. Okay, and now let us see next article. Title says on the alert always. So this article mainly focusing on left-wing extremism. So if you are opening your syllabus and seeing in GS paper 3 under internal security, so this left-wing extremism is one important topic and it is also favorite topic of UPSC. So now let us try to understand first what is this left-wing extremism. Especially beginners, they do not know about what is this left-wing extremism, right? So because of that, first we should understand what is this left-wing extremism and why this extremism is in news. So what happened in recent years and what are steps which are taken by government and what are needs to be done. So these all things we are going to discuss in this article. And today's mains question is based on Myanmar issue, okay? So now let us try to discuss this article in great detail. So before that, this article will be very important regarding GS paper 3, which comes under internal security, and this topic will be important especially regarding mains. Okay, before seeing this topic, I want to make a small announcement. We came up with this current affairs package course. So in this course, we are focusing on current affairs and we are focusing also on mains answer writing practice. So if you ask me what is importance of current affairs, so 50 to 60% of questions, either it may be prelims, either it may be mains and even interview, questions will be from current affairs. And if you are seeing any static questions, they have basics from this current affairs. So because of this, to clear UPSC, mastering of current affairs is an important key. And next one is mains answer writing practice. Without proper answer writing skills, you cannot clear UPSC for sure. So when you started your preparation on day 1 onwards, you have to focus on this answer writing practice. And also we are providing prelims practice questions on weekly basis along with video solutions. So this course will be very, very helpful to clear prelims mains. So what is the demand of UPSC? So we are focusing exactly on that demand. So don't take this course as a choice. Please try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. So for further details of this course, please contact us. Details are given in description box. Now let's come back and let us discuss about this article. So this article mainly focusing on left-wing extremism. So first of all, what is this LWE, that is left-wing extremism? So there are some groups or organizations, they are mainly trying to bring change through violent revolution. So they are left-wing extremists. So those people or those groups, they are against democratic institutions and they use violence as a weapon to subvert democratic processes at ground level. And groups, they mainly prevent developmental process in least developed areas, and they mainly try to misguide people by keeping them ignorant of what is happening around. So these are some introduction regarding this left-wing extremism. So these left-wings, they are against capitalist economy, okay. They don't want a private sector to enter here, okay. And they are mainly against democratic institutions, and they use violence as a weapon to subvert this democratic process, and they will prevent developmental activities in least developed areas. So if you see context here, why it is in news? Because of improvised explosive device attack that led to death of this assistant commander of Cobra, and also it injured 8 more others. And in 2008, about 80 personnel of CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force in Chhattisgarh, they died because of landmine blast, which are mainly used by this Maoist. And because of this, Union Home Minister ordered for deployment of CRPF personnel in left-wing extremism affected areas like Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, MP and UP. So these are areas which are mainly affected by this left-wing extremism. And next one is, here newly inducted battalions, they underwent about 12 weeks of training, and in this training they made familiar with terrain, and as well as they will understand about Maoist and also modus operandi, how they are operating. So these all things will be get familiar by this in this weeks of training here. So later on, BSF, Border Security Forces and Indo-Tibetan Border Police ITBP also joined the CRPF and state police forces in combating this Maoist. So later on, despite of training and as well as precautionary measures which are taken by this BSF, CRPF, ITBP, so security forces, they lost many personnel in year 2009 and 2010. So later on, CRPF mainly gained upper hand, and they forced Maoists to be on run or surrender here, such that there is decreased incidence of violence in this left-wing affected areas that is seen here. So in this way, this article mainly talks about need. Here we need to set up intelligence, okay. We need to upgrade our intelligence. We need to use extensively this Belgian Melinos dogs. So by using these dogs, we can detect this IEDs, okay, explosive devices, and we can upgrade our technical intelligence, like we can use drones. And this CRPF personnel, they should stay in Pakka buildings, not in huts here, temporary huts, because these temporary huts, they may prone to attacks, and as well as that will increase tolls here. So because of this, whenever we need to move towards this Pakka buildings, there should be increased funding regarding this CRPF personnel. And also we can go for commando outfits like Greyhounds and Jharkhand Jaguars that will prevent mainly Maoist elements. So now let us see something extra which is not given in this article. So we also need to discuss about what is government strategy made to curb this left-wing extremism. So government came up with this Samadhan doctrine. S mainly stands for smart leadership, A for aggressive strategy, M for motivation and training, A for actionable intelligence, D for dashboard based, and next one is harnessing technology, action plan for each theatre, no access to funding or financing. So in this way we can curb this left-wing extremism, and it is one of important and unique solution. And next one is, government also came up with a national strategy to counter left-wing extremism in year 2015. Important aim of this national strategy to counter left-wing extremism here is to ensure participatory governance and also protection of rights of local tribal people. So these are some important aims of this national strategy to counter left-wing extremism. And if you see, you need to know about what are schemes which are came up by government mainly to decrease this left-wing areas or left-wing extremism areas. So what are schemes which are implemented in these areas? First one is special central assistance by government. So that will fill critical gaps in public infrastructure and services of emergent in nature. And also government came up with increase in road connectivity, projects in these areas. And also government came up with education initiatives like Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya Vidyalayas and Ekalavya models in tribal areas, such that it can increase education in these areas. And also government came up with installation of mobile towers such that there will be increased connectivity in these areas. And also government came up with financial inclusion Mainly, government set up many bank facilities nearby these areas to increase financial inclusion. So these are some steps taken by government mainly to decrease or address this left-wing extremism in these areas. So this is gist of this article. I hope it is clear. Now let us see mains question. Despite its military coup, Myanmar is the key in linking South Asia to Southeast Asia. The East periphery becomes the focal point for New Delhi's regional outreach. So analyze this. So this article mainly talking about military coup in Myanmar. So how this Myanmar mainly acts as a gateway to reach Asian countries, that is Southeast Asian countries, you have to talk in this question. And answer should not be more than 150 words here. Try to write answer. So by this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.